Big week in the offseason for the Boston Red Sox down at the winter meetings down in Dallas, Texas. Tim Crowley from NESN.com, joined by TC, Tom Karen, who is down in Dallas for what should be a very busy week. TC, appreciate the time and what should be now a very interesting one for the Red Sox. 20 years ago, the Boston Red Sox finally made history. They won the first World Series title for the franchise in 86 years, and 20 years later, it feels like the right time to break it all down. I'm Tim Crowley from NESN.com, joined by Jared Carabas, the host of NESN's Unobstructed Views, the host of the Section 10 podcast, and frankly, the man who wears several hats inside of the Red Sox media realm. Jared, appreciate you coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Marcelo was really the start of this entire movement in rebuilding the farm system and getting these generational prospects back the way Jeff Passan described them. And that all started with Marcelo. So what I kind of started to ask the people around him was, for a few years, for such a dazzling prospect that had been so inconsistent, like what has stayed consistent about him? And they keep talking about the leadership abilities. The talent's still there. When he was on the field last year, it was great for the Red Sox to see some power pop into that bat as well. And that obviously, that whole sequence of the ninth inning that felt as improbable as you just talked about lays the scene for what the story becomes the next two nights. And that's the rise of David Ortiz that becomes the most clutch hitter in Red Sox history. Has the walk-off in the 12th inning, keeps hitting the next night, has the RBI single in the first, he hits a home run in the 8th, he walks off in the 14th. Was it talked about in real time, or did it feel like in real time, like how crazy it was to watch one hitter come up in the clutch time after time after time in that short of a span? I think they were just jealous they didn't get enough time with him. That was really the big takeaway that I had from talking to Coach Daniel Hall and their staff down at Georgia Tech was, cool story, right? Christian's a kid from the Atlanta area, was able to stay there for college, and it really made an impact the year he got drafted in 2023. A fantastic season, hit like 376 down at Georgia Tech. The big thing that really stood out and how proud they are of his development since he got to the Red Sox system was how great of a hitter he was. He doesn't strike out. His bat-to-ball skills are great. They just wanted to see him put the ball in the air a little bit more, and the Red Sox wanted to see that too. Last year's really where we started to see that. Hits 20 home runs across 3 different minor league levels. All those guys down at Georgia Tech knew it could happen. They just didn't get enough time to see it there. Let's talk about that right-handed bat that you mentioned. Obviously, they've been looking for that for a while, to be that number 3 hitter that can really slide in and separate the power between Rafael Devers and Tristan Casas. Teoscar Hernandez really seems like the pivot from Juan Soto that would make the most sense. There's the history of the negotiations last year. Where do you kind of see that market going, and how realistic is it that maybe the Red Sox can get that second chance to bring Hernandez to Boston this time around? Talk about kind of these compensation draft picks, and Roman Anthony is really the headliner of how great those have been for the Red Sox the last few years. Coming out of high school, came in, kind of did what Christian Campbell did before Christian Campbell, rose 3 levels of the minor leagues. But Casey, kind of like you said, that's really the big thing that stood out is the maturity and the clubhouse impact. And him and Marcelo Meyer just work together so well. And guys like Tristan Casas have really respected what Roman's done